In a development that has stirred international discourse, recent statements by the President of the United States have brought the spotlight back onto the geopolitically critical Strait of Hormuz. President Donald Trump has issued a series of stern warnings to Iran, addressing growing concerns over potential fees being charged by Iran for tankers passing through this vital maritime choke point. As tensions simmer in the region, Trump's remarks have once again underscored the ongoing friction between Washington and Tehran. The president took to Truth Social, a platform he frequently uses to communicate directly with the public, to express his disapproval of Iran's reported actions. In one of his posts, he asserted, "Asterisks, there are reports that Iran is charging fees to tankers going through the Strait. They better not be, and if they are, they better stop now." Asterisk, this direct and uncompromising message reflects the United States' firm stance on maintaining unimpeded maritime navigation in key Strait of Hormuz, which is a crucial artery for global oil trade. In another post, the president reiterated a longstanding policy goal of the United States, proclaiming Iran will never have a nuclear weapon. This statement aligns with the broader U.S. strategy aimed at preventing nuclear proliferation in the region and ensuring the security of its allies. He further commented, "You'll see oil start flowing with or without the help of Iran," underscoring the administration's commitment to ensuring the stability of the global oil market, irrespective of Iranian actions. To provide an in-depth perspective from the region, we turn to our correspondent, Taher Sadeghi, reporting from Tehran. According to Sadeghi, Iran has put forth a justification for the imposition of fees on vessels transiting the Strait of Hormuz. This move, as articulated by Iranian leadership, including a recent statement from the country's supreme leader, is part of a proposed new regulatory regime in Key Strait. The rationale behind this decision is linked to Iran's need for compensation due to the economic hardships it has faced, exacerbated by past conflicts and ongoing economic challenges. Sadeghi explains that the potential imposition of tariffs or transit fees could significantly impact the global energy market, given the strait's strategic importance as a passageway for a substantial percentage of the world's oil supply. This development is likely to become a focal point of contention in any forthcoming negotiations between Tehran and Washington, with talks expected to take place in Islamabad. The introduction of such fees could serve as a leverage point for Iran, enhancing its bargaining power in these diplomatic discussions. Moreover, the regional security context adds another layer of complexity to the situation. Iran's influence in the region has waned in recent years, and this move could be interpreted as an attempt to reassert its position on the international stage. The U.S., on the other hand, views this potential development with concern, given its implications for regional stability and the free flow of commerce. Sadeghi also notes that while the issue of transit fees in the Strait of Hormuz is critical, it is far from the only contentious topic on the agenda. Broader discussions between the U.S. and Iran are expected to encompass a range of issues, including the ceasefire in Lebanon, sanctions relief, security assurances, and verification measures related to Iran's nuclear program. These complex and multifaceted negotiations are unlikely to yield quick resolutions, given the historical tensions and divergent interests of the two nations. Adding to the uncertainty is the fragile nature of the current ceasefire agreements in the region, which could be easily disrupted by escalating tensions or missteps in diplomatic engagements. This precarious situation underscores the need for careful and nuanced diplomacy to avoid exacerbating existing conflicts or triggering new ones. As the world closely monitors these developments, the stakes remain high for both regional stability and global economic stability, particularly in the energy sector. The outcome of the anticipated talks in Islamabad could have far-reaching implications not only for U.S.-Iran relations, but also for the broader international community. As tensions escalate in the strategically vital Strait of Hormuz, the geopolitical landscape is fraught with uncertainty and potential conflict. President Donald Trump's recent warnings to Iran have further illuminated the precarious nature of the situation. At the heart of the issue is Iran's reported imposition of fees on tankers navigating this crucial maritime choke point, a move that has drawn sharp criticism and stern warnings from the U.S. administration. Iran's strategic maneuvers, including the potential establishment of a new regulatory regime in the Strait of Hormuz, are driven by multiple factors. According to Taher Sadeghi, reporting from Tehran, Iran's leadership, including the supreme leader, has justified the imposition of transit fees as a measure to compensate for the economic strains exacerbated by long-standing conflicts. The economic pressures faced by Iran are significant, compounded by sanctions and regional instability, making this new revenue stream a potential lifeline for the embattled nation. The Strait of Hormuz is one of the most critical maritime passages in the world, with a significant portion of the globe's oil supply passing through its narrow confines. The imposition of fees on tankers could have profound implications for the global energy market, potentially driving up costs and creating ripple effects across economies dependent on oil imports. For Iran, asserting control over this this vital choke point serves not only as an economic strategy, but also as a geopolitical leverage point in the context of diminishing regional influence due in part to external pressures and internal challenges. Iran's actions in the Strait of Hormuz can be seen as an attempt to regain a foothold on the international stage. The ability to regulate passage through the strait offers Iran a potent bargaining chip in its ongoing negotiations with Western powers, particularly the United States. The backdrop to these developments is a complex web of regional and international dynamics. In recent years, Iran's influence in the Middle East has been challenged by shifting alliances and the resurgence of rival powers. The fee imposition, therefore, is not just an economic measure, but a strategic recalibration aimed at reasserting Iran's role in regional affairs. The United States, under President Trump's administration, has consistently emphasized its commitment to ensuring the free flow of oil and maintaining security in the Persian Gulf. Trump's declaration that Iran will never have a nuclear weapon underscores a broader U.S. strategy aimed at curbing Iran's nuclear ambition, and preventing further destabilization in the region. This stance is aligned with long-standing policy goals of nuclear nonproliferation and the protection of U.S. allies in the Middle East. However, the path to resolution is fraught with challenges. The prospect of negotiations between Tehran and Washington remains uncertain, with several contentious issues on the table. Beyond the imposition of transit fees, the broader context includes discussions on ceasefire agreements in conflict zones like Lebanon, the lifting of sanctions, and the establishment of security assurances. Verification measures and other contentious topics further complicate the diplomatic landscape, making any potential negotiations complex and multifaceted. The regional security context adds another layer of complexity to the situation. Iran's actions in the Strait of Hormuz are closely watched by neighboring countries and global powers, all of whom have vested interest in maintaining stability in the region. The potential for conflict, whether through direct confrontation or proxy engagements, remains a significant concern for policymakers and analysts alike. In Islamabad, where future negotiations are anticipated, the stakes are high. Both Tehran and Washington will approach the table with a mix of strategic objectives and domestic pressures. For Iran, securing economic relief and recognition of its regional role are likely priorities, while the United States will focus on security guarantees and nuclear non-proliferation. The situation in the Strait of Hormuz is emblematic of broader geopolitical shifts and the interplay of national interests. As the world watches closely, the outcome of these tensions will have far-reaching implications, not only for the region, but for global stability and economic prosperity. In conclusion, the current standoff in the Strait of Hormuz is a microcosm of the larger geopolitical challenges facing the Middle East and the international community. The escalations of Iran and the responses from the United States highlight the delicate balance of power and the complexities of diplomacy in an increasingly interconnected world. As negotiations loom on the horizon, the hope is that dialogue and diplomacy will prevail over conflict and confrontation, paving the way for a more stable and secure future in the region.